everyone. Welcome to Love Parlour episode 1. We are super excited. We're excited to have you here. Like, seriously, we're launching the first episode, and we get to do this with one of our favorite couples, the power couple, right? So super excited to have you, Mr. and Mrs. Ebado, on the show.
Thank
Let's
you.
call it, yes, this is the
Thank you.
Love Parlour show, right? So thank you so much for joining. Right, and
Mm,
yeah, we want to. We're going to be having conversations around the dynamics of love, different seasons of love, and how we can also maximize our differences in our love relationships. Over to you, man.
All right, so we are excited that you have accepted our invitation as the first couple, and thank you for being with us. And so we want to get right
mm,
into it. Our aim with these conversations is to help young people, singles to be precise, who have marriage in view, but because of everything they have heard here and there, they are not sure how to go about it. They are afraid, they are scared, or probably waiting for the perfect time. And we just want to help them see that it's not far fetched. And then they need to listen to the people who have gone ahead of them. And that's why we have you here. And we are excited that you are here with us today. And the first question we want to ask is, how did you meet? How did this relationship start? What was it like? So over to you now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the purposeful duo, and happy anniversary in advance.
Thank you.
It's a delight to be
Thank
with you on this
you.
show. Okay, so
Thank you so much.
we met in the year 2003, and we met at the beach. So it was a youth picnic organized by my church. Then it was just a get together, a yearly thing for the youths to come together and just celebrate ourselves and thank God for an eventful year. So, but then his elder brother was my youth pastor then. He wasn't a member of our church. So it was the brother that invited him. So he came around, and then being a member of the hospitality team of the youth, I was among those that were assigned to welcome invitees and serve tea. It was the first thing we were supposed to do uh, when we arrive at the beach. So coincidentally or fortunately, I served him tea. I served him tea, and while
Oh,
serving him the tea, he had requested I come around later when I was less busy, so we could talk. That he would like to see me again. So when my hands were free, I went back to him. And but the amazing thing is we just hit it off like we had known like forever. We got talking. It became my beach body for that day. We just hit it off like that.
yes, we're together throughout the day. From basically throughout the day, we rode horses. We were just gisting, and after the day, we started
amazing.
talking every single day.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing.
Like it's so good to hear.
Yeah,
It's so good to hear.
it
No.
just kicked off from there.
Mm.
Amazing. All right. So at what point did you come to the terms that okay, there was meant to be more to this than the friendship? At what point? I believe Mr. Ibado is the right person to ask. At what point
Yes.
did you feel that okay, this woman is meant to be more than just a beach body? This is meant to be my wife. At what point? What was the experience
Okay.
like, sir?
O-
How did you know that now this is my wife? This is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life
So it started off like a joke. There were two of us that were invited to the beach party, myself and my friend and my cousin, right? But his mom is an older cousin. His mom um, didn't allow him attend because 2 weeks earlier, thereabout, uh, they lost someone in their church at the beach, and it was someone I also knew. So there was still fear and trepidation in the family,
with.
but I attended anyway because, as far as I'm concerned, beach is sand. I till today I don't go anywhere near water. It's always on the sand. So I knew Nothing will happen. So when I got back home that day, by the time I got back home, I met him and his mom in our sitting room. So I said to them, with my mom as well, I said to them, but that Fulani and Miss, Mama Pade Yawo Mileni. My mom got upset. Face it, because I had gotten into school a year earlier. She was upset. Or so you just entered school. Can you better face your academics. I deliberately said it to trigger mommy because I know my mom stand, and also to spite my senior
Cousin.
cousin wouldn't come along, you know. But like Yoruba says, like an angel just passed by when I said that and just said amen to
Oh.
it. That's what, in retrospect, that is what it looks like. But we were friends for 2 years before I started to make proposition. Um, Fortunately, I'd been in the faith as of that time, but I'd been praying about my marriage, but concerning her or any woman at all, this is the truth. I was not praying about anybody. I, as of that time, did not believe
Wow.
that if you are a believer who has been walking with the Lord, you had to be picking names, to be saying, based on what we were taught, there are certain things we were looking for. We were looking for a child of God. We were looking for someone who was born again. And as long as that person is born again, every other thing is between
Mm.
you and the person. Do I like this person? Do I like the behavior pattern? Do I like
Yeah.
their family, the value system? So even if I like their value system and I like her behavior and she was not born again, that's the one that I can categorically tell you that she's not the will of God. But the moment she is born again, genuinely, and I know that she loves the Lord, she is the will of God. Now, is she my will? Is the next question. And so that's what we started looking out for, the value system, what kind of home she comes from, what was her thought pattern about things. Because I also kind of started ministry very early. I was more radical than this. I'm a bit more. I'm a bit more. How do I call it now? Contemporary now. So I always that was my stance. That was my stand. And 2 years after I made the first proposition, like let us take this thing a bit further and see. Let us take this thing a bit further and see where it goes. So there is a little story about this. So we started dating. We started having a nice time. Like our families knew each other. We started talking, and so how we actually started this was I went to our school and I told her I wanted to see her. She agreed to see me. We went to an eatery and I told her, look, I want to marry you. That was how we started our relationship.
A for
So,
A for audacity.
yes, it wasn't back and forth. It wasn't any, let us find out if we are compatible. I think for those 2 years, I knew that we were compatible. So I just asked her once and for all, I want to marry you. And she said to me, look, I won't be sitting here with you if I was not interested in marrying you. That was that was the conversation. And we
Agreed.
started. Yeah. I remember this like like yesterday. And that was how we started. Yeah. So, but that's not the end of the story.
Hmm.
At some point,
Ah,
um, so 2 years after
okay.
we
So,
met, I went to her school and I invited her to an eatery nearby, and I told her, I said, I want to marry you.
A for audacity.
And she said to
Right.
me, she said to me, if I was not interested in marrying you, we won't be sitting here today. and that was how we started the
Wow.
relationship. That
Wow.
was it. But that is not the end of the story. So
I
after a
see.
while, what I'm saying, she knows. After a while, because we started pretty young. After a while, I got a job, and then I started meeting fine girls.
Hmm.
Right, I started meeting other fine girls. I didn't enter into any relationship with any of them, but as a young man,
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, I still have time. Are you sure that I did not commit myself too early?"
Who sent you?
So,
Yeah.
Mm.
Too
so I
soon.
spoke with one of my friends, female. She was in my band. I had a band back then, uh, a different
Okay.
band than the one I have now. So
Mm.
when I spoke with her about this, she said, "AY," because she knew her very well. She said, "AY, you know that Oleron Ifelara, don't be confused.
Interpret.
Let's interpret.
Interpret.
Okay, it means
In-
that when people
Interpret.
meet you, they like you. Yeah, that when people
Yeah.
meet you, they like you naturally.
Very
So, but
likable.
be
Yeah.
careful. You are likable. So go pray about this." That was
Mm.
the first time I would pray. The prayer was not to make up my mind who I wanted to marry. The prayer was to be sure that the distraction was not was
Mm.
the either the will of God or I was not missing it.
Mm.
So one day
Yeah.
I prayed and I asked God that, am I supposed to break up or continue? Um,
Mm.
so what happened after that was on a Sunday night, I had a dream. I had a dream that I got married to a lady. I didn't see the face, but the shape was one of those the ones people distracting me. The shapes look like the
Okay.
shape of those ones distracting me.
That were
And
distracted.
yeah, so while I was in the suit, wedding suit, and she was not she, that person was in the wedding
Yeah.
gown,
It's not new.
Okay.
we landed at the church. We had not arrived at home when we had our first major quarrel. Very
My God.
Oh,
terrible quarrel. That was the dream I had. We landed in
wow.
pastor's house when pastor started sorting out the problem. So
Wow.
we were still in the gown and the suit when that quarrel started. So so somebody at the
Amazing.
office in that dream still, somebody at the office who had never met my wife in real life was now telling
Mm.
me in that dream that Ebadan mother software. I told you. You see that short, plumpy girl?
Hmm.
That's your wife.
Wow.
You refuse to listen.
I join you.
The man said, I told you that that short, plumpy girl was your wife. You refuse to listen. See what you have
Wow.
put yourself into now.
Wow.
From when I woke up on Monday morning, from that moment till today,
Hmm.
the feelings I started to have for her
Hmm.
changed completely.
Wow.
You know,
Amazing.
there was a feeling that I loved her. I loved her
Yeah.
behavior. I loved her face. I loved her
Yeah.
eyeballs. But this
Yeah.
one now, of course, was still there. It now took it further. It was now a feeling of I'm doomed if I don't marry this girl.
Oh,
So
what a
you know,
switch.
not many people have this opportunity of God
Yeah.
pre-warning them ahead.
Hmm.
But for me, I made up my mind to marry. I think it's just like the scripture says that the steps of the righteous are ordered by the Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And when I
Yes.
wanted to now mess it up, the Lord was faithful to show
To
me
To
help
what
to
you.
redirect. Yes.
exactly.
Wow.
So
I mean,
that's
that's
that
profound.
Wow,
yes, that's how we
amazing.
eventually got married.
Okay.
Wow, wow. So let's hear from Mrs. Ebada now. In all of this process, how did you feel as a woman, and what made you comfortable, or let me say, what made you confident that this is the man for me? Was there any dealing with you? Was there any experience? Did you dream too, or what was it like for you that made you see that okay, this is who God will have me spend the rest of my life with?
Okay. So thank you very much. For me, it wasn't about dreams or anything, but within that period of within that period when he was distracted, I also made a move. I noticed the lack of
The
affection at
distance.
some,
Yeah.
yes, the distance at some point, and then I just knew that there was a discussion that we had. It was important for us to have.
To
So that particular day, that cousin he mentioned, where our love story started, it was his wedding. So I was invited. They loved me in his family and all that. But I just made up my mind when I was leaving home that day that I was going to have this talk with
wow.
this man of God, and that we
Wow.
really needed to talk. So, and that whatever was the outcome of that discussion that day would determine where we were headed from that point. So, at the
Yeah.
wedding, I remember as I speak now, I remember the venue very well. I remember how I told him I wanted to see him, with this straight face, and then took him to an empty classroom. And then I told him, I said, see, we told ourselves we were in this for the long haul. So I really need to know what exactly you seem disconnected, you seem distant. So I really distanced. I really want to know what is happening. So please talk to me. Let's know. I really need to know what we are doing here. So, and we got talking. He opened up to me. He's somebody that has always been honest, and that's one thing that stands out for both of us. So, and then communication had
Amazing.
always been a huge part of our friendship. So yes, he did confess to me that yes, he was distracted. I wouldn't even lie about it, but I should just give him some time to really, now pray about it. And I think it was from that point he also, took the praying part seriously. And then when God told him what he got, so from that point after the dream and when we had that much needed discussion, everything's sailed smoothly from there.
Amazing.
Mm.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Wow. Well,
Do you have a follow-up
it's
question for
amazing.
that?
I think I'll just give a feedback, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so much to learn,
I mean,
so much to learn from your responses. From the points
Thank
where
you.
you met, I'm actually looking at, yeah, we know that you're Christians, you're born again Christians. We see that you're committed to
yeah.
serving God,
God, yeah.
right? So it's more like meeting each other at the place of service.
Yeah.
That's profound, for singles to just see that it's okay, yeah, you should be a Christian, but service is also very important, right?
Sure.
And that's
True.
profound. And then also I get to see, okay, it's not just Mr. Ibadan who knows what he wants.
Yeah.
Mr. Ibadan to actually knew
Knows
what
what she
she,
wanted.
yeah,
And
and that's good.
she was willing to have
And
She
the
likes
frank
it.
conversation.
you know,
Of course, I liked
you
it.
know, oh
Yeah.
God, yeah, there was the attraction there. So
Yeah.
there's the boldness from the start
Yeah.
to say, okay, I want to see you, and then you initiate that conversation, the friendship. But then it was still there again for when Mr. Badon would come to say, okay, I need to confront this particular
Yeah.
misunderstanding and
Yeah.
let's have this
She
conversation.
took the initiative.
Taking that
True.
initiative, and that kind of also gives me the impression that there was just this enabling environment, that both of you, I
Right.
want to believe, consciously created to allow yourselves to
Be able
talk,
to talk, express yourself.
Yeah.
express yourselves, like really talk to a lot. Like I've written down some points,
Thank you
So
so
there's a
much.
lot to learn from just these two questions. We see
Yeah.
friendship, we
Yeah.
see open and honest communication,
Yeah.
we see service,
Mm.
we see that transparency as well. So for me, that's the feedback, that it's a lot that singles can learn. Of course, I also see the place of prayers.
Yeah. I mean,
I see the place of a relationship with God
mm,
from the start, where you're like, okay, I really don't have to go and kabosh, as it were, for me to know the right person to get married to,
yeah.
but you have the mind of Christ. You
Yeah.
can just know,
Yeah.
but then still getting to that point where you're like, I still depend on God to
Yeah.
say, okay, when I'm not sure, when I'm beginning to feel uncertain, I could still go back to talk to God to say,
Yeah.
okay, this is it. I mean, that's profound.
Mm.
So we're really, really excited.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much
very much.
for this. This is
I
wisdom.
I
Thank
think we
you.
have a last question, hopefully, and That's how have you managed your differences as a couple? Of course, I know for a sure by word from knowledge
From knowledge, this is what from knowledge.
that
From Facebook knowledge.
that you are two different people. How has it worked? How have you been able to maximize your differences to ensure that it propels you forward in your marriage, not separate you, not bring division? How have you been able to manage your differences over the years? Please let us know from both angles. Your
We're
differences, your
truly different.
personality
Like,
difference.
our personalities are very different.
Amazing.
Like, like North and South Pole. But there is, yes, but there is something which I think is the bottom line. There is mutual respect. And
Mm,
that respect, the respect we both have for each other, is not because we are with each other. We were raised
mm,
respectful, fortunately for both of us. We were raised
amazing.
respectful. So if we didn't marry each other, we would have respected our spouses, whatever, whoever it was,
Amazing.
right?
Mm.
So that helps us to balance things out. I am I am driven, I am restless, I am from one project to another. I don't look like the things I'm telling you, but she knows
Wow.
what, you know. I am
Yeah.
from one project to another. There are things that I am working on right now that have not been announced on Facebook. Multiple things beyond even what my physical capacity can handle. you know, that is me.
Wow.
The funny thing is that I have not exhausted, I have not finished this one. I'm already discussing the next one. That is
The
my
next one.
problem. That is
You have a
You
partner
have a you have a
there.
my wife
Oh, wow.
believes in my wife believes in stability a lot. Like, let us do one
yeah.
thing. Let
We
us
are alike.
uh, let us, you know, for me,
Wow.
I also believe in focusing, right? I believe
Yeah,
strongly in
true.
focusing. If not, I would have shut down Print Doctor Africa for something else with all the challenges we have
Mm.
faced. I believe
Yeah.
so much in focus, but I believe also that there should be no rest. Let us keep
It's
steering the
it's
nest.
it's boring, you
Because
know.
yes, exactly. Even in the same Print Doctor Africa, when things are moving on smoothly, I create another problem
It's not
by
chaos. There
Disruption.
has to be
just
something.
chaos.
Good
Yes,
chaos.
exactly.
Good
Yeah,
chaos.
exactly.
Disruption,
I just
Oh,
love
wow.
disruption all the time.
disrupting, and then
Disruption.
Disruption,
disrupting
yeah, is the
creating
word.
chaos so that we can start running
Yeah.
again. We can start
Me, I
running
don't want
again.
to run.
But our nature is, let's do one thing. Let us settle
At the
down.
Yeah.
I
time.
mean, God has
Yeah.
been good
Yes.
to us. Let us have
Wow.
the. But then you see where we complement each other is, for
Mm.
me, I would have been running without brakes. I don't know what would have happened to me. I don't know
Exactly.
what sincerely would have happened to me if not that
Wow.
she is my parking brake.
Setback.
That when you
Yeah.
press normal brake and it's not holding, it will hold the
Odi,
hand
Odi by
brake.
the jugular.
you know, so I would have gone out of control. It's like
Oh,
having a fantastic, a beautiful car that can go to from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6 seconds, but you did not
yeah.
install brakes.
Yeah.
It's going to be an accident going to happen. I
Mm.
Wow.
mean, going somewhere to happen. So
True.
Yeah.
True.
God installed her in my life as the brakes, you know. And then for
Mm.
me and her, the because of our nature, if I don't stir things up, if I don't stir things up, sometimes it's possible that she would have just relaxed, like not doing
Yeah.
much.
Mm.
Like once she hits one thing, she will just stay there. I mean,
Just
I don't
yeah.
believe
Yeah.
in it. Even in her business and whatever it is she's doing, I'm
Mm.
always plodding and plodding and plodding. I mean, there are so
Wow.
many examples that I will not say, but
Yes.
Amazing.
I'm the one I will be
Thank you.
causing problem from background. What's going on here? Third Eye Publishing cannot
Wow.
stay like this. We have to do something,
Esheo.
you know. So we help each other with
Wow.
those real personality differences, and we respect each other.
Different.
I was talking with my employees when I was doing a training for them, and I told her that I've met my wife almost 25, 21 years. I have never used
Wow.
this my mouth to say a word of insult to her. I was trying
Wow.
to talk about
Mm.
the culture, you know. Even
Yeah.
though our marriage is going to be 13
13
in
years.
October, right? But
Wow.
we've
Mm.
been together for
We met in
21 years.
2003.
And I have
Wow.
never used, we have had heated arguments, we have had
Of course.
moments of
Mm,
disagreement,
mm.
seriously, some, but it has never mistakenly
Mm.
come out of
You say
my
what
mouth
you shouldn't
to
say.
insult, you know.
Mm.
Amazing.
So it's basically all about the mutual respect, and that
Yeah.
is very, very, very important.
Thank you.
Mm.
Amazing.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you so much. Mrs. Ebana, do you have anything to add? That's a
Well,
whole lot that has been.
yes, yes, and he answered well. The only thing I will add is for us, I go back to it again. Communication remains our best
Mm.
tool in this
Strong
marriage.
value.
It has,
Mm,
I have seen
Mm.
it has worked for us, and it's still working and will continue to work for us. So even when these differences stare us in the faces,
Mm.
there's always that point where we come together to talk about it. Nobody is dying in silence. Nobody is running
yeah.
helter skelter and hitting their heads
No
on the wall.
malice.
No
We've
malice
never
keeping. So
kept an hour of
yes, so
malice.
we just always ensure that
It's
we
always
talk it
strange to
out.
me when I hear
Mm.
that a couple
Couples
say
keep
they did not
malice.
talk to each
Yes.
other for 2 days. We've never kept 15 minutes of
Even
malice
if let me
ever.
sorry, Jerry,
Mm-mm.
I just remembered
Without
something.
without
Even
without
You
talking.
don't
me,
you don't start talking before you
yes.
realize it.
No, no, no. Even if it means us not talking like this, even if it means us switching to
Phone.
messages,
Yes,
To
yes.
you
chat.
know,
Yeah.
we just
That's our
yes,
Yeah.
style.
we just
Yes.
have to.
Talk.
If it's so heated that we can't face ourselves and all that, we open our chat
Yeah.
immediately and,
Face. Yeah.
we just have to talk it out
Mm,
and discuss about it. You realize that
yeah.
after some moments typing, exchanging messages, not abusive messages now,
Mm. You say
it
how
will
you
lead
feel.
us
Yeah.
back to the point where when we eventually see, maybe when he returns from work, or if I go to the office, or when we sit again, we can now just take
Mm,
it up from there. And before you realize what is happening, it's like nothing happened.
I like that pattern a lot.
It's
amazing.
like
And I'm the
nothing
one that
happened.
starts it. I'll just send the message straight up, like, no, no, I don't,
Wow.
this one I'm not
So
going
we
to agree.
just take it
Then
up
we start.
from there. So instead of just allowing the issues just escalate to something else,
Escalate.
it's
Mm,
better to address. So that has always worked, and that way we have been able to manage our differences.
Wow.
amazing.
Silence in marriage is one of the
Hmm.
most powerful tools of the enemy.
Yes,
Your mind will
Yeah.
begin to imagine
different
things
things
that
that never
that
happened.
was not there. Yeah, this is
Uh,
true. I can tell you. Your mind will be taking you to places. If you act on it, that's the end of that
Wow.
marriage.
Yes,
So you
Wow.
just have to
Wow.
talk it out so that you can understand the original intentions. Sometimes we
Mm,
do not communicate what we intend to say appropriately. So if you don't
yeah.
continue to talk
Yeah.
and plod and prod and continue to dig till you find out what was the original intention behind whatever
Intent.
annoyed you in the beginning,
mm,
you will then
Mm,
realize that both of us were actually going in the same direction. We were using different words,
hmm.
but the moment
different.
you keep
Hmm.
quiet, interpretation of the devil will come. So the word that was
Yeah.
said that you did not like, fire
Hmm.
starts.
Wow.
and then when you keep prolonging and prolonging, you know I warned him not to do this, I did that. When you just keep prolonging things that should be addressed immediately,
Yeah.
you
Mm.
just give room
Immediately.
for all sorts
She
to
wants me not to do a
Mm.
lot of things. I hear sometimes, I don't hear sometimes, but
well, we just have to
talk about
talk
You
about
just have
it. So yeah,
to.
like you said, so it's really been the driving force. So, and then I'm there
Amazing.
sometimes to like he explained, just to
For
like
some balance, a
yeah,
lot
to
of
create a lot
balance.
of balance. So we need the balance, we need the stability, we need the growth
Yes.
too. So just at the end of the day, everything balances, and then we are fine.
Wow.
Wow, wow,
Wow.
amazing. This has been so, so beautiful. I think before my wife does the last recap, I would just like to ask you, what is the advice you have for young people out there? Maybe they are already in a relationship, maybe they are in a courtship relationship already, or they are trying to make up their mind, I want to step into a relationship with this one. What advice do you have for them concerning their marriage? I know you have said a lot already, but if you can encapsulate it in an advice, what would it be? What would you love to tell young people out there about marriage?
Okay, I should go
Yeah,
first then.
yeah, go
Okay,
first.
I would say love is patient. It can never be too patient. Love is
Mm,
kind.
Yeah.
So uh, why you may they may hit some points in their relationship where love may look like it's not enough, but and love is
mm,
not docile. Love requires some work too. So you have to do
Mm.
the work, do the work of sustaining the relationship, do the work of keeping your friendship line open. And I tell people, if you
Mm.
have your way, marry your friend, marry somebody that you are
Mm.
attracted to. Physical attraction, intellectual attraction, spiritual attraction, everything. Somebody that some way, if this is going wrong, this other part can pull you back to the person. That
mm,
friendship should never go out. All of this will come together to support whatever love that is building up between both of you. But when you
wow,
see some people,
wow.
even during the relationship, they are not talking, their distance is
Tumultuous.
creating a whole lot. The relationship is already tumultuous even before, even while they are
Before the
planning
marriage.
for their big day, they have a lot of differences that they
Mm.
cannot reconcile. Then that's a problem going somewhere to happen. So friendship is very, very important. Friendship is important. Before love, friendship is first. So, and I will not be tired. I will never get tired
Mm.
of preaching that to any young people coming together. Let's hear his view too.
So, from my point of view, three
Mhm.
things. Number one, do not marry a fool. Do
Mm,
not
do not
marry
marry
a
a
fool.
fool.
Yes,
Wow.
fools will make your life miserable, no matter how rich, handsome, or beautiful.
Or how so much in love you are.
Yes, or no matter how attracted you are to the person. And what is foolishness? Foolishness is taking decisions that do not align with wisdom.
Mm,
So if you have seen the way this person is
Mm.
living his life, is talking, does he talks anyhow outside, he has no
regret,
form of no vision, no direction,
values.
is you will just know a fool when you see one. Don't marry him. Help him, pray
Yeah.
for
Don't
him.
marry, don't marry her.
Don't marry her, him or her. Don't marry him or her.
Mm,
He or she will make your life miserable. I would also say, don't marry if you are a believer. If you are a Christian, do not marry not just an unbeliever, but do not marry someone who does not love the Lord, because it is the
mm,
love of God in the
Mm.
heart of the person
wow.
that
Mm.
makes them to live right. You know, if everything you are looking for in a man or in a woman, you will find in the life of someone who loves the Lord. People who love the Lord are afraid to annoy him,
Mm.
to sin against him. People who love the
Yeah.
Lord uh so if
Mm,
once they cannot once their conscience is how sensitive against disobeying God,
God.
yeah, what are your own
Mm.
standards you cannot live up to? So, but
mm,
you see, people who do not love God, people who find it easy to disobey God, people whose consciences are strong, please don't marry them. They will abuse you. Even if
mm.
they don't slap you, they will abuse you emotionally. If they are not afraid of God, the Almighty, who are you?
Mhm.
So those let me
Wow.
just skip it at
Mm.
those two. if whoever he wants to marry
Wow.
has those two,
She said three.
yeah, I'll just skip it there so
You're
that they
covered.
won't say I'm a naysayer.
Hmm.
But let me just keep it at those two. Yeah, marry someone who exhibits wisdom. It may not be complete wisdom, but at least the person has the
To a large
foundation of
extent.
wisdom, not a full,
Amazing.
and then
Yeah.
someone who fears and loves the Lord. There is nothing you people
Wow.
will not overcome.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh
Amazing.
my God.
This has been, we wish we could continue. I'm already thinking we have to bring you for a second episode where we will address some other things. This has been amazing, nothing short
Wow.
of amazing. Maybe you have some things to recap.
Seriously, let them go and watch.
Oh, wow.
Because it's value packed. Yeah, it's
Amazing.
really value packed, and there's so much. There's so much here to share, and I don't want to start repeating the teaching all over
Yeah,
again. So,
thank you so much
so thank you so
for
much, sir.
sharing from
Thank you
your
so
heart.
much.
We are
We're
grateful.
so grateful.
Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing your story with us. I'm sure that somebody out there will be helped because you have said it the way it is. It's been a frank talk, and
Yeah.
we can even see the connection between you both. We can see the synergy even in
Yeah.
your answering the questions. And
Mhm.
of course, we have no doubt that this has been a purposeful union. And we
Mhm.
wish you all the best for the years to come. Thank you
Amen.
for answering our call. We are confident that when we call you again, you will answer us
Thank you so
because we
much.
know there is more that we need to hear from you and
Yes,
that this little time cannot afford us. God bless
absolutely.
you real good
And happy wedding anniversary in
in
advance.
advance too.
Thank
we,
you.
we got that.
30
13
years is
years.
not joke, it's not beans. Thank you for being a light out there. We
Yes.
trust God for your marriage from
Mm.
here on. Thank you to our viewers for joining us. We believe that you have learned one or two things. Don't be sure you have heard it. You need to go back again, watch it again. I mean, like my wife was doing here, she was
Yeah.
taking notes for us
Mm.
because we have learned a lot.
Yeah.
How much more you who is planning to get married, we believe that this has helped you. And until we'll see you in the next episode of Love Parlor, stay blessed,
Stay
keep
blessed.
learning.
Yeah.
Don't be a fool, oh.
And
Don't
don't
marry a
marry a
fool.
fool.
Thank you to the Ebados. God
Thank you
bless you.
so much, sir. Thank
Bye
you so
and
much.
For
bye.
having us.
Bye for now. Yes.
Bye.